Si queremos expresar cómo aspiramos que sean nuestros combatientes revolucionarios, nuestros militantes, nuestros hombres, debemos decir sin vacilación de ninguna
Simón Bolívar, Simón, el suelo venezolano.
George, my name is George Raymond, and today I changed my plans. I gave up on my plane journey around Mexico and forgot about the museums. Me and my friend have hired an old banger and decided to hit the road for 2,500 kilometers in an attempt to understand at least a few of the locals. The rain never stops, and we couldn't cross the river today. Actually, what I mean is that the road we travelled on became like a river in a few hours. We stopped at an old shop with a ripped and soiled awning. The old man made me smile. We met him there.
Esta epopeya que tenemos delante la van a escribir las masas hambrientas de indios, de campesinos sin tierras, de obreros explotados. La van a escribir las masas progresistas, los intelectuales honestos y brillantes que tanto abundan en nuestras sufridas tierras de América Latina. Lucha de masas y de ideas. Epopeya que llevarán adelante nuestros pueblos maltratados y despreciados por el imperialismo. Nuestros pueblos desconocidos hasta hoy que ya empiezan a quitarle el sueño. Nos consideraba rebaño impotente y sumiso y ya se empieza a asustar de ese rebaño. Rebaño gigante de 200 millones de latinoamericanos en los que advierte ya...
He was part of the woodwork. He seems to have been there for the past 400 years. He looked at me. Hey, gringo. If you buy a bottle of mezcal from me, I'll tell you a story for a couple of drinks. So I did. He got very thirsty suddenly, and the second bottle was even better. It tasted very sweet. One day, an American ends up in an old fishing village on the coast of Mexico, he began. He enters a local bodega, sits at the bar, and orders a drink. Noticing an interesting character sitting opposite him, drinking mezcal and playing guitar. The American turns around and asks him what he does for a living. He lifts his finger off the chords of the guitar, zips a bit of mezcal, smiles at his woman, and tells him that he fishes for a couple of pesos a day. Enough to buy mezcal for me and my woman, he says as he turns and smiles at her again. And enough to be happy and play my guitar. The American smiles and tells him how, if he would sell his fish directly to the local market, he could afford a boat for himself in a couple of months. And with the extra cash, he could hire people to sell bigger quantities directly in Mexico City for proper money. In a few years, he would be so rich he could move to New York, where with hard work and a bit of management knowledge, you could become a millionaire in 20 to 30 years. The local man lifts his finger off the chords of the guitar, zips a bit of mezcal, smiles at his woman and asks the American, "And what would I do with all this money?" The American looks at him puzzled and tells him that he could find a nice quiet village somewhere in Mexico, on the coast preferably, where he could retire and do nothing all day but drink mezcal and play guitar for his woman. The old man looked at me again. "Hey gringo, if you buy a bottle of mezcal from me, I'll tell you a story for a couple of drinks." So I did. "You need to drink," he said. So I did. "There's an old tree somewhere in South America. A special tree." The old man started again. The tree of forgiveness, where if you're lucky enough to drink a few drops that come out of a broken leaf, you will be a hero. The legend says that many years ago, a young man whose family got murdered and his wife snatched from him by a rich landowner went to the tree to forgive and forget. But because he had walked all the way from his village for days on end, when he got there, he was on the brink of complete dehydration, collapsed on his back under the blazing sun, and waited for sweet death to bring him freedom. The old man looked at me again. "Hey gringo, you need to drink," he said. So I did. Suddenly out of nowhere came a blast of wind, the old man continued. A greeny yellow leaf came loose, and out of the branch a few drops of fluid dripped down the branch, straight on the dying man's lips. It saved his life, and the wind brought rain. The man got up and ran for days, until he came to the rich man's house. He pulled out his sword and one of his pistols shot the owner dead, took all his money, then shot all the guards, except one. He then went to the nearest village and gave the money to the poor, freed the guard, and told him to tell the world that from that day on it would always rain for months on end, and that during that time the poor will take revenge on the rich man's world.
En su conducta, sin una sola mancha en su actitud, sin una sola mancha en su actuación. Ese modelo.
The old man looked to me again. Hey gringo, did you like my story? He turned around, threw the empty bottle in a ditch, and left. So I did too.
Debemos decir con todo el corazón de vehementes revolucionarios, queremos que sean como el Che.
Las que expresan de agradecimientos por tan alta discreción inmencida y que su majestad, la reina de Holanda, ha querido entrar.
Esa libertad
No como decía mi humilde persona,
y ese derecho, y si esa sí es libertad, no la de los que van a ponerse un billete